I could say is, go in there. If you're going to go look for Bigfoot, have a very open mind, and be prepared to try to understand things you would be normally cynical about. And that's the best recipe I can really come up with.
Let me ask you this, Dale. Do you think that Bigfoot uses other animals like ravens or squirrels or even coyotes as a tool to notify them that you're in the woods, or when you're in the woods, or just anybody?
I absolutely do. They mimic other animals, and would definitely use other animal sounds to alert the others that you're there. Now, there's a lot of other ways they do that too. But if you maybe surprise them or something, get into the area and by surprise, which is not usually likely, but if you do, and then yeah, you may be hearing Bigfoots that sound like other animals, and they'll be relaying the message.
Now, James, I got a question for you. In your area on Bigfoot, like Samantha last night, she has captured images, not just Bigfoot, but, like an image, like I was just mentioning, of like a lady kind of wearing, the top of, how the Egyptians have that gold square on their collarbones, they like a huge necklace. And she sent me that picture over, and and then in the face, either they were really strange alien-looking faces, or they were wearing a helmet. But again, she was taking pictures of basically of scenery, and they appeared in the images.
Wow!
So have you?
Go ahead.
Have you heard of anything like that in your area with the Bigfoot hunters?
I've never heard anything like that in our area. Actually, I've heard of it. Like you just said, I have heard of it, but nothing in my area. Now, that doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but I just haven't heard of anything, and I try to keep pretty much abreast with it. He is known as Grassman here, but
now also,
but I'm going, and I will be going out this year a few times myself.
Now, Dale sent me pictures back maybe 6 months ago of these trees that were like pulled out of the ground and stuck in, the opposite direction back in the ground. Have you seen or heard anything like that?
Now, around here I haven't seen anything like that, but I have seen that stuff 15, 20 years ago up, matter of fact, that where you had your little encounter up in northwest Canada, where they would take big trees and stick them upside down, and when they thought it was, their theory was, some of the guys there, was that it was marking our territory or something like that,
Yeah, I believe.
But I haven't seen that around here. But they do around here. They make all kind of intricate. They'll take trees and intricately intertwine them together in the middle of nowhere, and it'd be hard for a guy to do it. That's for sure, because some of the trees are pretty thick around.
Yeah, these trees that are on my page, we're talking about better than probably 30, 35 feet high, with 20 feet of it sticking out of the ground and the other 15 foot of it shoved in the ground. Maybe not quite that much, but it is huge, and
right.
There's no signs of it's not far off the road, but there are no signs of it being done by a machine. And quite frankly, I don't see, unless the machine dug the hole out, they put it in there and then filled it up. It just would not be. Whatever did this is huge, beyond Bigfoot size. This is these are mountain giant. That's mountain giant territory, and I'm sure it goes through the Cascades, the Olympics, and up into the Rockies of Canada. Kind of like, but there's a host of different ones, like kind of the rock apes from Ape Canyon. They have more of that primate kind of look to them, and The others have more of a human look to them, but these mountain giant are in a class all of their own, and there's nothing that could just shove this tree into the ground the way it is so perfectly, unless it was about 30 or 40 feet tall. And there's not even a host of Bigfoots that could do this altogether. You know, they just couldn't get hold of this tree in enough ways to push it down into the ground that far.
Have you ever noticed, Dale, have any Bigfoot ever followed you home?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And that's gonna, this, is not going to be well received by the cynical people. And I live in town, and yeah, I believe they've been to the house. I believe, they've left glyphs in front of my moss squatch, and I've had them woo and knock on the floor underneath my feet and stuff. It's this is once they it's really weird. It's really weird, and no, you can't see them. You can't see them. I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
James.
James, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's really weird. It's a lot stranger than people can get their minds around, and it's not going to be getting hold of the body. Probably isn't going to happen until we have another understanding of what else this world is holding. What else we can't see.
Wow.
And I believe wholeheartedly, James, that these creatures are what connects us and are the path to understanding these other dimensions. And I know how you're like, I want to keep this all in the box, and I'm just going to go about it, like Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and that's all cool. But we need to start understanding it and giving more thought to the scientific end of quantum theory, and I think, there again, Mr. Moorhead has touched on something that, it needs to be looked at really closely. Well,
guys, I think something is strange from the standpoint. A lot of sightings of Bigfoot, it seems like they just walk away into nothing. They disappear. Or they come in to an area the same way, like they weren't there, and all of a sudden they appear. Now, have you heard anything like that in your area, James?
Yeah, there has been similar things like that, where they will be walking, go behind a big tree, and then they don't ever come out, or people have seen them at nighttime, and like they just basically disappear. Like, where do they go? So I think there could be. I keep an open mind. There could be something with the portal thing. Who knows? We don't know. I would like to know what do you guys think their agenda is, or do they have one?
I don't know.
I think they're obviously in touch with superior intellectual beings. That much I've been able to establish, and that's because of the UFOs that show up around me, these lights that show up around me, that many can bring testimony to. I'm just not talking about this. I have people that have actually seen this happen around me. So we're dealing with something that's way, way, way more advanced than we are.
Well,
and even though they seem to live in the most primal way, running around in a forest, Yeah, you think, well, these guys have something better going, but, they probably do have it better going than we do, and that's why we're all down here in these boxes, And, I think they are very much aware we are in our scientific knowledge. I think as we grow even more to know more scientifically, this stuff will become easier to understand.
I remember like Michael W. Hall told me, they were up at Mount Adams, and they were trying to film UFOs. And then all of a sudden a UFO appeared right above them or near above them. And that it all of a sudden projected out a blue light or something. But what was funny is before that UFO came, they were hearing like right on the tree line knocks, which was Bigfoot. And what was interesting, though, is that Michael Hall he went to go out to use the bathroom, which maybe would have been maybe 3 minutes tops. He disappeared for like an hour, totally unaccountable what happened. And it just makes you wonder what is going on between these UFOs, these sounds and sightings of Bigfoot. Like I said, a lot of these sightings, UFOs are hot in that area, the same as with the Bigfoot.
Yeah, and in the early 1970s, and I think western Pennsylvania, there was a big correlation between UFOs and Bigfoot sightings that went on. And there was even the one family fired some shots and stuff, and then the Men in Black came. And I know MUFON was there, and I can't remember the case, but it was in the early 70s in western Pennsylvania anyway.
I think they're very much aware of that, too, where I'm concerned, and how they show themselves, how they present themselves for me to show them to the public. And there may be something to that Men in Black thing where if these photos were as crystal clear as, say, another gentleman's that has, I would think that that most definitely the Men in Black would be something that would have a lot of interest in what that researcher has, and how come he has that and nobody else does, kind of thing, So I think that there's a lot of people that are bringing some of this to light, and it's kind of hard to understand, but I think we're just barely beginning to start to see some of this, and I think it'll become even more so as we move along. And as far as like these people that are missing and stuff, up here in Three Sisters Wilderness back in 2012, this professor from the U of O, vanishes 500 feet or so away from his vehicle. All his map and compass and all that stuff's laying right there, and he's just gone. And I mean gone. And I believe, people are it's probably alien activity, or, I could honestly see a mountain giant maybe having a snack.
Or maybe there's these portals that people are accidentally walking into. They don't even know they're there and disappear.
Yeah, they're transparent, so you don't even know you walk into it till you're gone. Hey, our time is up. Again, James, don't hang up. Dale, tell people again how they can find your Facebook page before I let you go.
Sure. My name's Dale-Lyons. You're welcome to send me a friend request, and as long as you're thoughtful and considerate, I'd love to add you as a friend. My page is Squatchville, the Bigfoot Amphitheater, and I invite you all to check it out. I hope that you will really proceed, look at it with an open heart and an open mind, and I would love to see you there. And there's we got a lot more to learn.